on the facts, breaking news, and in-depth interviews on a wide range of topics.
Atlantic Television Network, home for in-depth reportage, facts, professionalism, all the news you need. Atlantic Television Network. Atlantic Television Network.
Atlantic Television Network, anchoring facts.
But I remain committed to the United Kingdom leaving.
Since I became Prime Minister, I've said we must get on and get Brexit done on October the 31st so that this country can move on.
Sir, my amendment is that Mr. President should be invited to come and explain the situation.
But I remain committed to the United Kingdom leaving.
Since I became Prime Minister, I've said we must get on and get Brexit done on October the 31st so that this country can move on.
Sir, my amendment is that Mr. President should be invited to come and explain the situation.
But I remain committed to the United Kingdom leaving.
Since I became Prime Minister, I've said we must get on and get Brexit done on October the 31st so that this country can move on.
Sir, my amendment is that Mr. President should be invited to come and explain the situation.
Great to have you this wonderful Sunday morning. It's Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network today. I'd like to welcome you so warmly to today's issues. Open Conversation actually, it's a network flagship political platform through which trending political news, events, and stories are discussed. And on our lineup this wonderful morning, we've been having issues with the weighing of the options of zoning. That's 2023 president, APC, PDP weigh options on zoning this wonderful morning. And the next lineup is 15 politicians who more than 15 politicians actually who want to take Buhari's job in 2023. So these are the topics we have actually lined up today to discuss. We'll take a break, but we'll come back, we'll discuss more.
But I remain committed to the United Kingdom leaving.
Since I became Prime Minister, I've said we must get on and get Brexit done on October the 31st so that this country can move on.
Sir, my amendment is that Mr. President should be invited to come and explain the situation.
But I remain committed to the United Kingdom leaving.
Since I became Prime Minister, I've said we must get on and get Brexit done on October the 31st so that this country can move on.
Sir, my amendment is that Mr. President should be invited to come and explain the situation. Honorable Speaker.
On a point of order.
Honorable Speaker.
On a point of
But they are not bringing our cause. They are going to
to no agreement with the EU, but
break. So we were talking about issues that are trending also in the political scene in Nigeria this wonderful morning. Now, the first topic we got to discuss, 2023 President, APC, PDP weigh options on zoning. Now, the two political or major political parties are grappling with the headache of where to zone the presidential ticket in the next year's election. There has been no direction yet on where the All Progressive Congress, APC, and the People's Democratic Party, PDP, will pick their candidates. The next issues we'll have to discuss this morning is that we have more than 15 politicians who want to take Buhari's job in 2023. Now, the 2023 presidential election is 13 months away, and some politicians have already been mooted to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari. Campaigns for the 2023 presidential election have now been set in motion. The drumbeat is getting louder as many politicians have already thrown their hearts in the ring, where political parties are still planning and weighing their options ahead of the election. Campaign posters of some presidential hopefuls have, started littering the country, as we all have it in Nigeria. Those whose posters and billboards are yet to be seen anywhere have been giving us, hints about their intentions to run for the highest political office in the country. In no particular order, here is a little bit of some list that we really have positions for the day for the presidential elections in 2023. So these are the topics we'll be discussing right away now. We'll take a little break again. We'll be back shortly.
But I remain committed to the United Kingdom leaving.
Since I became Prime Minister, I've said we must get on and get Brexit done on October the 31st so that this country can move on.
Sir, my amendment is that Mr. President should be invited to come and explain the situation.
But the Nigerian government is not giving its people
Welcome to Open Conversation. I am Nnamdi Uzuku, and with me today are two wonderful gentlemen. The first is a barrister, Barrister Romeo Need, and the next guest I have is Mr. Precious Ene, advocate on youth in elections and governance. Gentlemen, welcome to Open Conversation this morning. All right, so thank you. You've seen the issues that are really having sway in the political scene in Nigeria. The first is the 2023 president. APC, PDP weigh options on zoning. Party rejects claims by the supporters and those who are clamoring individually for zoning in the party today. So, Barrister Need, I'll take you first. What is your opinion on this issue of party zoning?
We are very much in interesting times. One of the biggest industries in Nigeria is political politicking, and we must all be concerned as to who takes the ticket of any of the political parties. Unfortunately, we have more than 2 political parties, but the dominant parties is just the APC and the PDP. And we must actually concern ourselves as to whether these persons that will snatch or take the party tickets to stand for the general elections is qualified to so do. Our history as a people has been dominated politically by tribe and religion. We have always clamored, whether you're a Muslim or a Christian, to have the balance of both religions represented in our political positions. And we are averse to the fact that to have a Muslim ticket or a Christian ticket running for the president and vice president. The only time we've got that was the 1993 elections where Abiola and Babagana Kingibe came up as vice and president as both Muslim tickets. And I wondered why Nigeria never questioned that. I think what was more to them was to leave the military era, and they saw the two persons as competent enough to lead the country in spite of the fact that they were the same religious learning. I think for 2023, the parties must be troubled as to where are we going to, which part of the country should we zone these tickets. And it is so important at this point in time, considering the happiness in the country, that they do that rightly. I'm aware that the APC has unofficially given their own ticket to the southern part of Nigeria, comprising of the southwest, the southeast, and the south-south. I'm also aware that informally the PDP has said that for now they don't have a zoning arrangement as to who will become president or represent them as president from the said PDP platform. And the reason they profile is because the parties in opposition, they want to win the election, and then they can discuss whether you can zone further in another thing, you can zone. But it is critical for the both parties to know that we are religious and tribe sensitive in this country. And therefore, the success otherwise of their party is dependent on how they get zoning right. And we from here, we will not say, we should also clamor that in order to build further unity, cohesion, and understanding, political and understanding, is that the gentleman arrangement allowing the president or whoever come from the different sections of the country should be allowed. That is my thinking.
Okay. Barrister, thank you very much. Now, taking you, Mr. Precious Hene, is it wrong for a party to actually zone, knowing that Nigeria actually is a country that is tribal and religious sensitive?
Well, for me, I don't think zoning arrangement is out of place, considering the way we come together as a nation. And also looking at, as at 1999, when we started democracy in Nigeria, the South takes the president's shot, which is the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, who is from South and Southwest. And he ruled for 8 years. And for unity purpose, they decided to zone the next to the north, which also went to north-west, which is in person of late President Yaradua. And unfortunately, death took him. And the Constitution allows that the Vice President should take over the government, which comes from the South, which is South-South. And he finished the tenure of Yaradua and decided to run. So when he finished the second tenure, the first tenor of Yar'Adua, he decided to go again to finish the master, the two of them ticket tenor. And thereafter, there is this struggling that the power should go back to the north. And he felt he had just finished his master tenor and all that. So at that process, you agree with me that there was political tension in Nigeria. And within the PDP, they know the arrangement. He got that chance and won. And he wanted to complete his tenure, being 8 years. And there is this sentiment between the North, the Kaba, and within the PDP. He was betrayed because of this North and South arrangement. So for me, zoning should be the best option in our democracy.
Zoning should be the best option in our democracy.
Yes.
Barrister, I know from what you just said, that means you obviously are not in line with zoning particularly, because you said the people should, the vote should be for people who are really credible. Do you think this will make for a peaceful nation if zoning is not upheld?
You see, I'm not adverse to zoning. All I'm saying is that the political parties should be able to unearth and give us competent persons that can stand or can rule, lead the people as president, that will be presidential in their actions. And first, they won't be presidential in their private lives. They won't be presidential in the way they hold public offices. And I don't think any of the zones has a want of people that are this competent to lead the country. The thing that is important is the competence of that person to lead the nation. So in the recruitment process by the parties, that is what should be important.
What if you don't find someone is competent in a zone? What then happens?
Now the thing is this, the political parties do not elect the president. The people do elect the president.
So is that the issue we have in
the Nigerians are the electorate. So if a political party decides to bring someone that is not competent, and I think the other party understands that this person is not competent, it is for the other party to make sure, tell Nigerians that this person is not competent. Let Nigerians decide who becomes the president of the country. Now, but there is no way, that's what you feel is an extreme view. There is no way you cannot have competent people in the zone.
Okay, now, Mr. Ene, now he said Nigerians should be allowed to really choose who governs them or who leads them.
Yeah.
Is that the case we've had over the years in Nigeria, looking at the cabals we have in various parties?
I think I love this particular question. You know, Nigeria should be allowed to elect the president, but the system we have, it can't work. Why I say so is because when he was making his introduction speech, he did mention of two major political parties, which is the PDP and the APC. And you will agree with me that as we are looking at who produced the president, the political party that produced the president, it's all centered in these two political parties. There's no any other political party that can produce the president. And even if miracle will happen, the same people who disagree in APC, PDP might decide to come together, and probably just the way APC was formed. Maybe that is where we can see that another party can win the presidency. But as it stands now in the PDP and the APC, just any of these parties. But now, coming to the question of Nigerians electing their president, I think right from 1999, the Buhari administration, Nigerians have not actually taken that shot electing who they wanted.
So why do you think, what's the reason why Nigerians have not really taken that shot? What are the factors or the indices you can pinpoint to say these are the reasons Nigerians have not taken that shot?
The Electoral Act. If you look at the Electoral Act very well, there is no space. There is no anywhere. It's a lawyer, maybe I'm not a lawyer, maybe he will correct me.
I'm going to
yes, because if you look at the Electoral Act, let me come. As at last election, 2019, how much did the PDP says their governorship form and expression of interest? 22 million naira. the presidential ticket is about 25 million or thereabout. And it comes for...
Which of the parties?
Yes, I'm talking about PDP.
Okay.
22 million naira for one to contest for governorship. And if you look at this process, the process of nomination, from buying of form, screening in the primaries, down to the election and all that, you see that Nigerians are denied. You cannot be elected without a political party. And if you visit the Electoral Act is supposed to spell out, give the parties the directive on how to sell form. If INEC is to supervise a primary, now a political party on their own would decide to impose amount of money to buy form to run election. So it's an error.
So it's an error?
Yeah.
What would you say about this error, Barrister?
It is not an error. I beg to differ.
Why?
You see, Nigerians have continually elected their president. The system may not be very pure, may not be standard as most countries. Even overseas, where you think that the system of democracy, most civilized democratic culture, you see five issues of race. America as an example. There's no way you have a watertight democratic process. You can't get it anywhere in the world. Man is not due to be that perfect. Every day we have challenges, but what is important that we provide challenges, solutions to these challenges, how to meet them with the problem. Nigerians has elected presidents in this country. You see, and I use, for instance, Buhari did not just win election, but he just came out of debate. They lost elections and won elections. And you see, the same Jonathan defeated Buhari in an early election, and he came back to win. So what gave Buhari a victory? Well, because he went back and had a better political calculations, and APC was given birth to, and he won the election on the basis of the fact that Nigerians saw him better, more electors saw him better than the previous administration.
Are you sure Nigerians saw him better?
Of course, because if he was that powerful, he didn't win the formal elections. And you see, the issue of, like you want to say, one of the challenges for Nigerians deciding who to elect is finance. I said no. One of the problems we have is that Nigerians are not concerned as to the process of governance. Nigerians are not concerned about their budgets. Nigerians, we are not concerned. All we want to do is to wail. You cannot be president because you have money. In fact, if you have so much money, it becomes a problem to you.
So what would you say about someone who is hungry, who has not really fed himself or taken care of himself very well, coming for office? Can he actually rule?
Then you are not qualified to come for office. What makes you qualified is your mental alacrity, your mental understanding the fact that you want to rule. Money is not the primary purpose. The primary purpose is how do you organize yourself, organize people, win their support, win their confidence, and you think that they can sponsor you to run for an election. The basis of the political parties is to sponsor candidates for election.
So, Mr. Ene, hold on, Barrister. You agree with what he's just said? Because I know you're a youth advocate, and you talked about the expression of funds, 22 million naira, right? For the, if I got it correctly, earlier on, presidential ticket. You agree with what he has just said?
I wanted him to let's look at the Electoral Act. You asked a question: does Nigeria actually elected their president? If Nigeria do, then why do we have just two major political parties?
No, see,
hold on, allow him.
Why do we have?
Make his point.
For example, in Rivers State, in 2019, we have an issue of Magnus Habe and Amechi dragging the soul of APC. And now because the Habe himself felt the APC is that vehicle that can drive into government. And now, if he believes in Rivers people, he believes that he has the people that can vote, then why not go to another party where he can still get where he was? But because of this money bag of a thing, now I wanted the barrister to say, let's look at the Electoral Act. Now, how can a young graduate who is between 25, 30 something, who wants to run the election, who belongs to PDP or APC, where will he get millions of naira to buy a form to run an election.
Hold on, Barrister. Hold on, Barrister.
So, the process have denied that individual. You can't be. So when we can only elect our leaders that will listen to us, that will have that development, we must look at the Electoral Act. That this from all parties, president, governor, chairman and all that, sell your form within this range, where everybody in that political party should be able to afford and participate in that process. Until that is done, there will be no any.
Thank you, Mr. Precious. Until that is done. All right. So, Barrister and Barrister Need, Romeo, let's x-ray the electoral art in Nigeria. Does it really favor the man who actually has the intellect and has the, according to you, intellectual alacrity and the wherewithal when it comes to reasoning, and does not have very good blue, let me call it the blue, his account is not really blue. So does it really favor him?
You see, we must actually dominate our discussions on our own circumstances, and our problem is not the Electoral Act. There is no perfect law anywhere. The problem is not the law, it is how the law is put into practice by the practitioners, those concerned with the making of that, with the implementation of that law. Like you said, let me come back to what he said about Magnus Abe and APC. He said Magnus did not believe. It is the personal handicap of Magnus Abe. That he thought that the only party that can give him the governorship of Rivers State was the APC. If Magnus understood the fact that any other person, not Magnus, understood the fact that I don't have the political wherewithal, including financing, we begin to prepare early. Our plan is that people wake up today and want to be president tomorrow. It is not a 1-year plan. It may not be a 4-year plan. You must understand your advantages, your disadvantages, and you plan accordingly. Now, the electoral plan has given the political parties the power to sponsor candidates. Okay, there are not 2 political parties in Nigeria alone. There are political parties. In Anambra, you have ABGA. In other places, you have other political parties that are winning elections. So if I want to be president of Nigeria and I think I cannot get a ticket in PDP and APC, what do? I will start to plan on time. If I don't win today, I have built my political capital. I may win tomorrow.
Now, do you think Nigerians will actually throw their weight or support over new parties, knowing that these 2 parties have been, are the major parties we have in Nigeria?
The problem we have is why would Nigerians not want to support a green new party with a reasonable person? The problem we have is that the men that understand or want to govern come to the social media and they want to be president on the social media. They have so much followers, but social media do not vote.
Okay, now you said something that we do not plan very well.
We don't plan.
Are you sure about this? Because I listened to an interview with one of the presidential
hopefuls,
aspirants or hopefuls in person of Dele Momodu. He said he has been planning for this for over 30
How many
years.
local government did he visit? How many wards did he visit? So if you are planning to be president and you are not under APC or PDP, they have secretariats everywhere, and you are not visiting people, you are not meeting people, how many labor people did they meet? Labor union did they meet? How many market women did they meet? To say one-on-one, I know I have visited this place. But the problem is that these parties do not. And that's why you see, it's unfortunate that even at this point, we have election next year, we are discussing the people and not even their programs.
Okay, hold on now. Now, Mr. Ene, Barrister Mead said APC has actually, thrown their support and the zone into the south, the southern part of Nigeria. What would you say about this?
That is not clear yet because
I said informally.
Informally,
Yeah.
okay, informally,
Both
okay,
parties.
Yeah.
okay, both parties.
Have no zoning.
that information is not cleared to the best of my knowledge because PDP just had their national convention and they elected the chairman from the Middle Belt, and APC is also trying to tow that direction. So if you look at it mathematically, considering the population, they felt they are just trying to see where PDP is actually wanted to zone their presidency to. And I don't know, maybe if PDP decided to zone to the north, maybe they will decide to zone to the north. But PDP are saying that they are not APC, that PDP, the south has had that opportunity of becoming a president.
Now PDP now.
Yeah, that's the PDP.
Okay.
So they can decide to zone their presidency to the north, because the PDP have had their president in the south, the person of Olusegun Obasanjo, who had it for 8 years, and Jonathan also had 4 years with additional 1.5 years. So that is their own calculation. That is their own calculation. So PDP may likely zone their presidency to the south, to the north.
Okay, so you talked about zoning their presidency to the north, right?
Yeah.
For PDP.
Yes.
But what chances did you see? They've had a northern aspirant before, and he did not really have a headway, or did not really win the elections in Nigeria. Do you think that would be a good bet for them?
If you are considering Buhari winning Jonathan, that is the North just decided within the PDP in the North. They just felt Obasanjo have taken for 8 years, Jonathan have gone for 4 years, and part of Yaradua. And if they should allow the South to take over, so they decided to just give it to Buhari.
You're aware of several factions we have in the PDP, right?
Yeah.
You're aware of there's the Babangida Lee faction,
yeah.
There's the Kwankwaso faction,
yeah.
There's also the South Governors faction
yeah.
also
yeah.
of the PDP. So the lack of agreement about zoning in the PDP is underscored by declaration of presidential aspirants
yeah.
by the Southwest and the South chieftains today.
Yeah.
Does it tell good? Does it spell good for the PDP when it comes to the 2023 elections?
I think we're in the era of politicking. And if you look at the big wings you just mentioned, they are just working on their own individual purpose. And at the end of it, maybe they will harmonize, and not everybody just trying to show their interest to grab 1 or 2 things and all that. But I think Secondus was actually working for the North to take over, and the current the governor of Rivers State was actually one of the people that wanted the South to produce the president. But I wondered why he sponsored the removal of Secondus, and now did not take over the chairman, the work of Secondus. And now he went to Bauchi to say that Bala Mohammed should get prepared to run for president. And we were wondering how come, because we know that he's actually supporting Tambuwal. Why then now went to Bauchi for Bala Mohammed to run? So he knows the kind of politics he's playing and all that. But for me, as a Rivers man, I felt sponsoring the removal of Secondus from office illegally does not speak very well, because as I speak to you now, the governor of Rivers State has lost that relevancy, because when Secondus was in the party chairman, most of these aspirants visit Rivers State, visit him particularly to consult, because they know that the power of the PDP is in Rivers State. But today, you agree with me that the governor have gone to Kwara State, to Benue State, to pay visit to Otom. Most of these people, we remember Dino Melaye, we remember Atiku, they will all come to Rivers State, spend that time in government house and all that. So the governor have, thinking that he's too smart politically, have lost that relevancy in PDP. In as much as I'm concerned, he now visit, he's confused, he's working with Tambuwal, he's working with Bala Mohammed. The other day he went to Cross River State and all that. So he has lost that relevancy in PDP, because he has miscalculated and all that. So I don't think he will have a better chance come 2023.
Okay, Barrister Lead, I saw you were making some body movements to that. Do you have a contrary view to this? And one of the questions I really wanted to ask is the power of PDP actually embedded in the South, in Rivers State, just like you said.
No. You say we Chinachebe, not Chinachebe. It's all that the 45 teams himself. You know, for you to say you're a power broker, it's not just because you have money to spend, to throw here and there. You must have the number political party elections is based on delegates. What is the quantum of delegates at the South House? For you to be a power broker, we want to produce the president. We were here in time past that people came here when my governor said that if the party does not hold convention in Rivers State, he's going to pull out. They came and he was defeated. So it is not whether you throw money that gives you presidency in Nigeria. It's not a money thing. It is the ability to discuss with other groups. The problem we are having here is the fact that we fail to understand that rotation is a bonder, is a unifier, is a preserver. And that was why the Southern Governors Forum, made up of whether the West is South and the South, held a meeting and said they want the presidency to come to the South. The PDP governors are even championing secretly or openly, conversing for the North to produce a next flag bearer under the PDP, said nay about that. They said nothing. They supported it. They had representative in that meeting. So the only thing the PDP have said is that because they are in opposition, they want to win an election. But that the bringing a northern candidate does not even guarantee them winning elections. Because the North is not politically naive. They are not politically stupid to not to know that we need to alternate the presidency to allow for unity and the cohesiveness of this state. Until we get to that point where we allow just for the intellect of the candidate to decide who wins election. So it is not whoever throws money that wins election in Nigeria. It's not for the presidency. If that is the case, the president wouldn't have been president. Mr. Obasanjo was in the prison. What was his account credit when he was taken to run against Olufalaye, and he won the election? So it's not.
And you heard when Odus Okalo said he sponsored Obasanjo with how many billions now?
No, that's
money is part of it.
See, for a political party to anybody in a political party win an election, it's not a delegate election. How many delegates do you have? How many states do we have in the South? How many in the North? What is the political participation of this person in each of the political party? We forget that Tuku lost his presidential election in his own state. That is his own state. But the governor won the election under PDP. So it is not a matter of how much you have. You can travel here and because you are privileged to have a private jet. You can travel far and near, go canvassing, but that does not win you the presidency. That doesn't even give you the VP ticket. I don't want to mention something. Let me look as you go. We know there are people that fought to be president of this country. They held meetings in Akwa Ibom. They held what they call the South People's Assembly. They forgot that Obasanjo was the president then, and the power will go to the North. They held meetings, wasted funds, wasted their time. When the chiefs were done, and the party was to nominate a candidate, they took Yaradua. So if you know how much you run around, you can be working, I think you are working as nothing.
Barrister, okay, hold on that now. You have some reactions to this.
Yeah.
I'll allow you to react. Then I will still have this question. This indecision by the PDP still weighing their zoning options. Don't you think it will affect them when it comes to the 2023 elections?
It may not. It may, in the sense that I was supporting on that the credibility of the candidates, irrespective of where the person comes from, to some extent, and it may also affect negatively on the ground. Sometimes the vice president sometimes helps the president to win election. The candidacy of the vice president sometimes contributed to the president, the candidate for the president, to win the election. So the North and the South, PDP, APC win. Maybe somebody, like as it stands now, the current president is from Northwest, and another Northwest coming out. Maybe PDP went on the Northwest to pick the candidate. Maybe the other zone in the North might felt, why not our zone? And maybe from there, that particular zone might decide to support the other zone. So the weighing of the option depends for the both parties. and considering the running mate.
He said, what they call it, the former chairman of the PDP was illegally removed.
Yeah, Uche Secondus, yes, was.
Do you agree with this?
In that matter, I think it's at the court of appeal, and the processes leading to that removal, the judge of the High Court of Rivers State was actually penalized because of that. And I think that we want to show that there was more to it that was judicial in the removal of Secondus. That's every keen observer will know that there was more to it than was judicial removal.
What is the more to it, please?
The process was not wholesome. It was the coming of together of unholy forces, and Secondus was the target and the victim of that alliance, and were removed from office. And the reason was very clear. They wanted to clear the coast so they could have dominance and dominate the party and have total control of the party. But we human beings will fail to make this mistake. You cannot control a man all the time. The president, I was not discussing with him, we were discussing outside. And that I personally, I don't see Yoshiayu as someone that is dogged, that will fight so much if anything happens in the party. You can say, you can take this party and leave me. And he even made them come and say, I beg. He said, why you brought me to come and stop me? So, Secondus had that doggedness as a party man. His removal equally not help those that are committed in the party to an extent. It was as if it was a Port Harcourt affair, and everybody was not carried along. And that is one of the undoing of the party. You cannot have a party that has semi-gods or emperors winning elections. You cannot have a party that it decided that few people just come and say, I will want this, and it happens. And you think the other stakeholders will want to trust, give in their all in that party's success? No.
Okay, but some speculations have it that when you have a chairman of a party that is from the south, then we should have a presidential candidate from the north, and this will make for balance. Or when you have vice versa, what do you think about this?
Now, Secondus tenure would have ended last November,
December 9.
He wouldn't have done nothing if the conventions were held and another person from the north was brought. So from the analysis now, it shows that if the person from the UHIB from the north central, the Zenith, the ordinary PDP to zone, the presidential candidate to the south. But then they are not saying that. They are not saying that. So we cannot actually say trust and say this is what PDP wants. Like I said, unofficially they say they are not zoning the ticket to anybody. And the governor of Enugu State was the chairman of that committee that came up with that direction. So the issue at stake is that whoever zones rightly will win the election. Whoever zones wrongly will need to prepare for the next election. So it is dependent on the party that zones rightly and the candidate's credibility and competence. These two must go together. Nigerians are not fools. Nigerians will always want to vote a candidate they can actually depend on. That the candidate fails them tomorrow is a different ballgame, if that is their perception. But for you to say, I don't see power returning to the north, the way Nigeria is actually, I don't see power return. And even if power was here, I don't see it remaining in the south. I think we've gone past beyond that.
Okay, now let's move over now to the APC in the issue of zoning. Now, in the APC, there is no consensus about which zone should produce the candidates also. Two stalwarts from the south, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, southwest, and Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi Southeast have declared their interest. Also, Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello, North Central, has thrown his hat into the ring. The APC National Caretaker Committee said the zoning for elective offices has never been accorded recognition by the party. What do you think about this statement?
I agree with him that it has not been. Political practice cannot be, everything about political practice cannot be subjected to constitutional enactments. So there is no way everything that the party would do, the agreements, will be subject to law or will be enshrined in a law. But it must have a moral correctness. It must have a political correctness. And zoning is. You see, there are a lot of people say there are X and there are X. I mean, there are prophets and there are prophets. Not everybody that comes throws his heart into the ring is fruitable, is electable, or is even committed to what he's putting for. So, but therefore, the basis of say, let me contest for the presidency because I'm a governor, I have the money to travel. I may have a ministerial position, I may go to the Senate. These are all political permutations. But we know those that want to be president, and that has been the ambition to be president. And Nigerians should be reasonable to look at those ones and say, among this lot, who do we actually support? The political party should know that among this lot, who are we to sponsor, to be our flag bearer? That is what is genuine and important. It's not everybody. So tomorrow anybody can come. You see, and let me tell you, don't be surprised. In the APC, what you have are all certain candidates more meeting the president, meeting their political party, that I want to be your candidate of this party for the next election. Don't be so you may hear one man, unknown name, from anywhere in the north to say he wants to run for the office too. That does not make it that APC has not informally said that the South is going to run for this, giving the president to the South. It does not distract from it.
What's your opinion concerning this matter about him saying all he has said that there's no particular area where the party has not upheld to the zoning principle or policy?
I think they have not. But within the cabals in the APC, everybody have who they wanted. But for the public, we don't know, because I remember last week Wednesday when the presidency granted the Channel Television an interview in the presidency. I think the president boldly said that he has somebody in mind, and he was asked who the person is, and he said that is his own secret. He don't want to. If he mentioned the person, the person might be eliminated. Eliminated. He used the word eliminated.
Yes.
So, at that point, looking at the leader of the party saying that he has somebody in mind. So
they have a favorite candidate.
So a favorite. So yes. So what we don't know is it from south or from the north? Is it south or southeast or southwest?
But I feel supporters of the various candidates have a large influence over who should really come to represent the party in the forthcoming election in 2023. But what do you think about this?
Good. That is where the introduction comes in. When this political party decides in their selfish way who becomes their candidates, they throw it to the Nigerians. And you see the issue of bringing 5,000 naira, 2,000 naira, to lure the youth and all that, and people embrace. And because of the way the government, the way the government injected its citizenry to poverty, added poverty. So when they see 5,000 naira, the 5,000 naira looks like 5 billion naira. They will bring wrapper, they will bring rice, they will bring all this and start sharing and all that. And they use this to lure the people to vote, who they impose on Nigerians.
Are you saying the support groups we have clamoring for a particular candidate are actually remoted?
Of course, like in the life of Tinubu now, everywhere, Jagaban and all that, he rightly said, Odili done more than that. I'm saying it on air, I can't just say, Odili did more than that. You know fully well, as a governor, that the current president is from South. And you want to take over from the same South. And he started going around, going to the National Assembly, giving Rivers people money that belongs to Rivers State, giving it out to the North and all that. And the current governor of Katsina State, who happened to be the Speaker of the House, went to Obasanjo and said, this your son, You have been praising. You have been praising. Please listen to this tape. And then what did the tape say? Odili is sponsoring Obasanjo not to get the amendment out of the third term bit.
Okay, thank you. You hold on that now. We're about to really take a break. But before we do that, there's something pressing you said, Barrister Deed, about the system will not work. What system do you think will work in the party that can make them have a formidable force? Both major parties that can make them have a formidable force come 2023.
I think in the line I was trying to say that, like we all agree there that the political party is to sponsor candidates. The final decision is left to the electorate. Now, a system that works is the one that you allow the electorate participate in that process. You talked about support groups. Political parties are made up of pseudo-political groups. And for you to win elections, you must align yourself with these pseudo-political group aspirations or thinking. No political party can act like an island and win an election. Nowhere in the world. So what is important is for the system to work is that we make do of what the electoral act has provided us with and tinker within it. There is nothing stopping us from making further amendments. Law is a living thing. It meets challenges, we tinker, we amend. But what we have today is what we need to make do. And therefore the political parties and the electorate must focus on how to win the election. The political parties have to win the election. The people are to think and to look into how do we get the best of the candidate thrown out by the political parties.
Thank you very much. You mentioned a point. Do you have any contribution to this, or you have a contrary view?
No.
In few words?
The area is you have not actually come up with the issue of, before the party, any political party sponsors a candidate, you must have that interest. The individual will have that interest, and there's an expression of interest form that you pick, a nomination of form. At that point, you go for screening, and before the party will look at your credibility and say, okay, we'll screen you out or you're in before you go for primary. It was after the primary that the party sponsors. So now, if I have interest to run for governor, where do you expect me to get 22 million naira to get that done? Because I must pick that form before that process. So I'm saying that now there is a law that says not too young to run. With what?
Okay, not too not too young to run. Actually, we're actually trying somehow to delve into the next issue we are discussing today. So if you're just joining us, this is Open Conversation, and I've been speaking to two wonderful gentlemen explaining the topics of the zoning principles in different parties. Parties are still weighing their options on which zone takes the order of the day come 2023. And we have Barrister Need and Mr. Precious NM. We'll come back from this break. We'll move over to the next topic. We have more politicians who are vying for the highest office in the land come 2023. That's the presidential office in the land today. So when we'll come back, we'll discuss more on this. Thank you. Stay tuned.
But I remain committed to the United Kingdom leaving.
Since I became Prime Minister, I've said we must get on and get Brexit done on October the 31st so that this country can move on.
Sir, my amendment is that Mr. President should be invited to come and explain the situation.
anchor on the facts, breaking news and in-depth interviews on a wide range of topics.
Atlantic Television Network, home for in-depth reportage, facts, professionalism, all the news you need. Atlantic Television Network, Atlantic Television Network.
Atlantic Television Network, anchoring facts.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
On the point of order.
Is no agreement with the